most of us will not, most of the people who are going to hear and see this interview are not going to see much of bears or elephants, encounter them in the course of our daily lives. Um, how do we, what are the lessons that we need to take into our world of nearby birds? If we're lucky, there might be some birds around and some other, and the plants and so on. How do we take this in? And by the way, I think you have this is a separate question, I guess. So go ahead and let's talk to that one, and then I'll ask you the next
Okay.
one.
You don't have, someone asked me the other day, is it ethical to go respectfully to a park to see bears or to see an elephant in the zoo? And I said, well, I'm not going to, answer ethical or not ethical. But I said, it doesn't do the bear any good and it doesn't do the elephant any good. Um, we don't need to go see a bear, and that was also Charlie's point. Charlie's point was you don't go out, to wilderness to find a bear. You just be in nature and in service. So I would encourage, that the little junco or sparrow or fly is just as amazing as a bear or an elephant and a spider, to uh, or a piece of grass, is just as wondrous. And you don't need to travel to the Galapagos. You don't need to travel to someplace else. That's a colonial hangover. The best thing to do is to be respectful and caring and service and dedicate your life to the well-being of the planet in that very specific way.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking of Kim again, back to Kim, and the priest that he follows is is from Tibet and is also a Jainist, I think, which my
Mhm.
understanding is that's a spiritual uh, perspective that treats every detail of nature as precious
Mhm.
and deserving of living.
Mhm.
Um, so I understand that you have kind of an animal preserve or shelter on your property. Is that right? And if
Well,
so, who's living with you?
well, my nonprofit is called the Karula Center for Nonviolence, and I live on 30 acres here in Southern Oregon, and it's a formal sanctuary per se, but really it's a community. And the animals, there's wildlife. We give refuge to wildlife who are hounded and slaughtered and disrespected, and it's terrible. And they don't have to be an elephant or some exotic animal. These are our wildlife here in our own backyards. They're struggling. And then we have quote unquote rescued animals like rabbits and desert tortoises that are disabled, that have an arm or a leg. They were going to be euthanized by the wildlife agency, and I take them in, and we have one sulcata, who's a very big tortoise, and then we have turkeys and chickens and dogs and cats. So we're really a community, and I think that's kind of the another message I would like to encourage, and that's like be sanctuary for all of life. you know be sanctuary. It's less doing than it is being. And if you start from a place of being sanctuary, being welcoming, like spiders, well, you know so what? That's, learn about that person is just as sentient as you are, and respect them, and like Charlie did, to seek to understand their values, seek to understand their needs and their families, etc. So I think that's kind of, we had this little slogan like make all places sanctuary. The whole planet should be a sanctuary in the sense of um, providing peace, security, dignity for all beings.
Yeah. Amen.